Welcome to the Ingram Micro Monthly Podcast. We are all SureStep BDMs working across the Microsoft Cloud Stack. My name is Martyn Hall, and I will allow my colleagues to introduce themselves now.
I'll go first. So my name is Nicola Miller, and I am the Business Manager for Modern Workplace.
And my name is Mike Markey. I'm also a Business Development Manager within the Modern Workplace.
Hi, my name is John. I'm a Business Development Manager for Azure.
So SureStep is a global program from Microsoft, and the team consists of us lovely four faces here. And as you can see, we have a new face. So John Papadakis has now taken over from Stephen Gray in Azure. So we had a little transfer in. And whilst we all cover the three clouds, so Dynamics, Azure and Modern Workplace, essentially our role is here to enable partners by supporting them through their Microsoft journey. And we act in a parachute motion, dropping not only to support with sales opportunities, but we can also help with delivering training and enabling you to be more efficient to sell more.
Thank you very much, Nicola. So this month on our podcast, we are going to discuss, as always, the community call updates. And this time we are going to discuss something a little bit different. We're going to discuss IT qualifications in sort of the next generation of workers, if you want to call them that, because they're not quite there yet. So, Nicola, you found this lovely article. Do you want to just give us a bit of a headline out of it and talk us through it a little?
Sure. So the article really was around the education sector, and essentially the subject of IT has actually seen a decrease by 40% since 2015. Now, you know, we live in a modern world and everything moves forward at such a pace. We need to have this talent built in at GCSEs and A levels, etc., moving forward. So this is really like around this education bit. There's a few statistics that have come out, and I just think that's a drop in 40% is a huge number. I mean, how do you feel about that?
I know myself, like I've got a younger sister who falls into this age bracket, and seeing her and her friends kind of technology just grabs them. So the fact that they don't want to continue with that throughout school, knowing that that's the age that they're in, this digital age, it's really, really bizarre how kind of like, do you know, I remember when I did IT at school and it was all floppy disks and everything. That was what we'd save on. So, it's
showing your age.
Yeah, and you'd be rushing for like the quickest computer in the whole thing, and you had
to pair up as well, didn't you? You take it in turns.
Yeah, there'd be like
kind of weird. I'm wondering whether like the actual stuff that's being taught at IT is not engaging enough with that age group now. Maybe that's partly to blame.
I mean, this is around the 11 to 16-year-olds is really what they're kind of looking at in terms of obviously that GCSE age. I mean, my children are in primary school age and they're doing coding. Like they started coding in year 3. I'll get there in a minute. And like they love it. Like they think, oh my God, to be fair, I wouldn't know where to start with coding if I'm being honest with you. So I feel like they start young, but is it because they think they know everything in terms of like, you know, is there that wider piece? Are we not sort of opening them up to actually, you know, this is what you can do with PowerPoint and Excel as a front end functionality, but actually what goes beyond that? I think, you know, is it that piece? Is it like the education on the education? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what's your thoughts, John?
Well, I think I agree on that. It's more about what is the actual job going to be. Because if you look at all our job descriptions and everyone on LinkedIn, nobody says IT professional. It's there's thousands of different jobs. The sector is growing very fast. It's very interesting. So funnily enough, my background is not IT. I have an engineering background, heavy industry manufacturing, and I chose to come here because I really love this. I really love creating solutions, helping partners, helping customers, modernize, do more. And this is something you couldn't do on the physical actual infrastructure that's called manufacturing, at least not so fast. So I think there's a part there to be played for someone to give the bigger picture of what is this industry and what are the potential. What's the potential? Maybe
there's something in that, because IT is, well, how old as an industry is IT now? I mean, it might be worth looking at calling it something else. And Microsoft keep driving the whole digital transformation messaging. Maybe that's a more apt kind of topic to call it. I mean, Nicola, you mentioned Excel and PowerPoint there, what you can do with that. I mean, that's very Office application based. When you mentioned that, I was thinking actually there's loads of stuff you can do with Power Apps, and Power Platform is aimed that kids can get involved in it. You talk about coding with low code, no code. Power Platform's perfect for something like that. And if anybody goes on LinkedIn, you'd be able to find within seconds some Power Apps for kids webinars that you can do, especially with lockdown.
Yep, we done that. So through lockdown, whilst I was playing teacher, two different syllabuses, as you do, we utilised some of the Microsoft education pieces, and they were really good. So one was low code in terms of actually making their own game. One was about tracking walls, so it's about kind of searching on Bing and you know what I mean, making their own presentation and stuff along those lines. So Microsoft are really supporting those functions with that education piece. But yeah, so my boys absolutely love it. I'm not gonna lie, they like that whole low code and kind of feeling like they're making their own game. I said I probably wouldn't know where to start. I feel like I need to kind of take the children's education piece on as well.
I'll throw some links at you after.
Yeah, absolutely. You crack on.
I think if you look at it from a business perspective as well, many businesses that we talk to are transferring from that on-prem to cloud piece and are stuck in somewhat a hybrid motion most of the time as well. Now, a lot of the businesses, and probably going into the future, will be probably cloud first. You know, they'll be born into the cloud straight away, so they probably wouldn't have known of the on-prem infrastructures that we've certainly dealt with in the past. So I think that really helps align with the MOU that Nicola was kind of alluding to before between Microsoft and the British government to kind of help bridge this gap and essentially breed this generation of systems integrators and ISVs. That's what we're going to see come out of this. Probably a lot of app developers and computer scientists, hopefully. Or it'll be scary. I don't know. It's up to me.
Wonder which way they take it, I suppose.
Yeah. It's so what are your thoughts? Anybody's on the cloud first motion?
Anyone? I'll jump in at once.
Yeah.
You see how prepared we are on these calls.
Yeah. Well, no, it's a deep question, really. So yeah, a couple of minutes of thought.
I think it's good. I think it shows a positive sign in terms of from the government, signing this 3-year MOU to kind of push this cloud first motion, certainly for professional services and sectors, essentially, and moving that forward. I think it's still pushing and still, as you said, going from that on premise into the cloud and kind of getting rid of that kind of, the tin. So really from John's side of it, and making sure that actually that everything's all current. I mean, we live in a subscription world as such. We pay everything's on subscription these days. Nothing is an upfront cost anymore. So that CapEx is kind of gone, and we then moved in with OpEx. And I suppose, it's digital transformation, but it's also moving with the times as well, not just necessarily in terms of from IT structure. It's actually just the way the world is actually naturally moving from that kind of, Spotify or Apple Music or Netflix or Disney Plus. Everything's on a subscription basis. Yeah. So I think it's pushing that movement in terms of how we're kind of fleshing out essentially in general life to life.
Yeah.
I think the best thing about Cloud First is that for the first time, what is most important is what's best for the customer. So in an on-prem world, you will discuss about hardware. So there are different vendors that have to compete for the same bid for the same customer. Licensing, so different vendors that do more or less the same thing have to compete on value and price. That was the old IT world, I would say. So the new IT world, it's all about what is best for the customer. So what is best for their needs, for the security, for the teamwork, what's best for the end user. So I've worked in many companies, biggest one in the world. You would get functionality on your laptop and apps that you don't even know how to use. Everything was disconnected because there was somewhere a salesperson selling this kind of solution to the company, and then there was another one, and there was another one for HR, and you would have the laptop wouldn't even have any RAM available to do anything because you will have all those apps on your laptop. Now you just have everything, usually in one place, and that's the best. It's I think the first time that companies are actually interested on end user experience.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I don't think it's a topic we're going to throw any answers out there, but I think hopefully our comments will spark more thoughts from anybody who listens or watches, actually. And it's a topic certainly I would explore further with any partners that wants to go into that in depth. And I'm guessing the three of you would be in the same boat there.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Well, shall we talk community call updates then?
Yes.
Who would like to do their cloud first?
Should we start off first, Nicola?
Just see you pursing your lips, ready to go. Absolutely.
I bet you've got some stats waiting for us as well, haven't you?
We do, actually.
You always like to start with a good stat. So Modern Workplace can never start one of our podcasts without a stat, can we, Mike?
No, absolutely. So do you want to give the stat?
Okay. So drum roll.
Oh, we said it at the same time.
Think. So Teams. So we'll give these this last year or last 8 months that we've certainly been doing the podcasts. Active daily users now. We're 115 million in October. Hazard a guess how many now, Martyn?
I've read the answer, so.
Oh, rubbish.
Let's give it to John.
Okay, John.
Is it 200?
No, not that many. That's just being pie in the sky. That so 145 million active daily users, which is huge considering when we first started this journey. Well, over a year ago now, in terms of before lockdown, was on like 20 million active daily users. So to add 125 million active daily users in 14 months, I think that's pretty stellar.
So what's that? Is that like the entire adult population of the USA or something?
I
have no idea, Martyn.
They didn't put it into context, really. It's twice our population. No, it's not twice our population. Our population's ridiculous, isn't it? But yeah, it's
it's a pretty big number either way.
14 billion.
No, it's 70 million people nearly, isn't there, in the UK?
So
it's just over double,
yeah.
Really. But that's everyone. So
that'd be everyone in the UK.
Everyone, at least, and a bit more.
And that's every single day using Teams.
Every single day using Teams.
Good God.
And also, manufacturing has seen a growth of 230% in the last year. So it just shows you, I think, in terms of we talk about Teams and collaboration and everything else, but it really does show you in terms of the switch that people have made. So, it comes part and parcel of your license, as long as you choose the right license to use. Yeah. So there's no additional cost to it. Compared to maybe some of the other competitors that are out there, and it truly just syncs across and works all together. It's seamless. I mean, the amount of documents that me and Mike work on together in that collaboration piece and that co-authoring is, I just, like you say, is a whole heap of time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's and on that collaboration piece and carrying on going all the time. I'm guessing, like, I know I'm bad for it, but my meetings can be back to back sometimes. Has anyone else got that feeling?
Like
Yes.
today.
Sometimes. Yeah, like today. Yeah. Well, something I only recently found out about, probably in the last couple of weeks, but it was really highlighted on the community call, was within your settings in Outlook, to kind of give yourself that break. You can set these rules which enable you to kind of, if you say booking an hour's meeting, it might schedule it for 55 minutes, or half an hour might schedule for 20 minutes, depending on your rule. But it just allows you then as the user to not be 100% go all the time, but at least step back a little bit, So, and I think that for me, I'll be setting that rule up following everything today. So yeah, just so I can get a drink, go and see the dogs for 2 seconds, or go and get a breath fresh air. So it's quite important, I think.
I think it's nice to give yourself an actual break as well. I mean, We're constantly on the go. We're pretty much back to back, day in, day out. And I think you need that break. I think you need that mental, just 5 minutes downtime. And if it is just picking the post off the doorstep or stuff along those lines, it just gets you up and away from your desk for 5 minutes before you go back into the next one, and you're not rolling as well. So otherwise everything seems to blur into one, I think.
Yeah. It's yeah. Has anyone got that set already, or is that just me being really behind? I don't know.
No, that a couple of members of our team have got it set up already. So our boss.
I've never set it up, but I do put 45-minute meetings in. I never do an hour. Always 45, because no one wants to book that extra 15.
Yeah. No, I get that.
I am that person that books the extra 15.
There's always one.
There's always one.
There's always two. So on our next point around our community call, there was an announcement that was made, and it was from Forrester. Can you believe it? So in Q2 of 2021, so literally now, as we think for Forrester, Microsoft were awarded a leader in email security wave, which was really, really interesting. Now, out of all the marks available, how many marks do you think Microsoft actually received for this email security wave?
I know the answer, so I can't say.
Yeah.
Don't know.
250 million.
I don't, if that classes as all the marks, then actually Microsoft scored top marks within the Microsoft Defender in incident response, threat intelligence, and endpoint protection. And that's kind of with the response for solution integration criteria as well. So I just think, people talk about security, it just really adds another string to Microsoft's bow in why you should be looking at the Microsoft security stack, especially if they're receiving top marks in these kind of assessments. So
plus you've got the Gartner Magic Quadrant still leader in 5 of those areas as well. So this is just more and more accolades that Microsoft are adding to their security classes.
Yeah. So do you want to do the next one, Nicola?
Yes, so moving on to security. So Microsoft now have in public general release in the public domain the new cybersecurity exams. So we've got the, I nearly said MS, but it's the SC 900, which is Microsoft Security Compliance and Identity Fundamentals. So within here, we've got the also the SC 400, which is Microsoft Information Protection Administrator, the SC the SC 300, which is the Identify and Access Administrator, and the SC MS 200 Security Operator Analysis. Essentially, they're new exams. So these were in beta for a while, and we had previously spoken about these because when Microsoft put anything in beta, you get 80% off these exams, but they've actually now gone into general release, so they're in the public domain. You may see on LinkedIn quite a lot of people have been passing these exams of late, and Microsoft have also put a learning path. So the virtual training calendar, you will see there's some dates in there which will then give you the training for these exams, so which is good.
And off the back of security, more particularly the identity access management, one of Microsoft's main competitors is Okta. I don't know if either of you have heard of Okta before, but a lot of partners sometimes asking the question of, how can they pitch Microsoft security against Okta? And Microsoft aren't really one, as we know, for kind of, bleed and kind of compete information, because they like to preach on how great their technology is, which it is fantastic. But they have pulled together a partner playbook, and you can actually access this playbook by going to aka.ms/Okta playbook. And from that, it'll give you the such information where, you can pitch Microsoft security versus Okta. And it really kind of, it's their biggest competitor in identity and access management. So really looking at those pieces, especially, over the last year, where a lot of kind of, say, the bring your own device to work and where the users were at risk kind of thing, and just kind of solidifying all of that and implementing it within your solution.
You just need to make sure that you've got an NPM ID to get into it, though.
You do. Well added. Yeah, you got to have access to your partner center.
Teamwork is dreamwork.
Yeah.
And then the next bit was going to go on to was the Teams, unless you've got any more that you want to add with security, Mike.
The only one, I'm not sure if John was going to mention it within Azure, but I know some managed security services providers are now asking questions around Azure Sentinel. Microsoft have released a playbook around Azure Sentinel, so it's aka.ms/AZ or AZ, depending on where in the world you're watching from, if we do go global. So AZ Sentinel MSSP, so you can access that one there.
I'm glad your reading out's better than mine today.
So yeah, well, it's just those links, just got to have them wrote down, because they throw all sorts in there.
They do. So Skype for Business. So Skype for Business Online goes end of life as of the 31st of July. So there's some update messaging that Microsoft have released, and they're going to do some assisted upgrades. So essentially 90 days prior to the 31st of July, Microsoft will message you and just tell you that, Skype for Business Online is going end of life. And this also includes the audio conference and the Skype for meeting broadcasts. However, Microsoft have put an exception to the rule just for the Skype for Business Online. It does not include the audio conference, and it doesn't include the Skype for Business meeting broadcasts. The exception is, they understand that we've all been a bit like funky times recently, and everything's not necessarily can probably get things done that we wanted to in normal terms. So you can apply for a service extension, and this service extension is for 3 months. And I say this is just for Skype for Business Online. So it's just the core services and the PSTN, not audio conferencing, not the meetings broadcast. So you can only do this twice. So it is just like a bit of a band-aid on it for the minute, just as a short-term stop, just in case. But you will need to apply for that extension via Microsoft for that. However, as I said, they will notify you within 90 days. But 145 million active Teams members daily, hopefully, there won't be that many left on Skype. I must admit, I can't remember the last time I had a Skype meeting, if I'm being really honest with you. Somebody sent me a Skype invitation. So I'm hoping that you would have all migrated over to Teams by now, because it's fantastic.
Almost feel offended to receive a Skype invitation these days.
Not as bad as Zoom.
No, true. And I think that was it from our Modern Workplace community call, wasn't there? Quite a lot of updates.
There was another one. Well, there's another 2 actually. Sorry.
Oh my word.
It's you that's huffing, not Martyn. It's normally Martyn that kind of rolls his eyes. So in terms of there's new content or new training around the boot camps for teams rooms for technical fundamentals, so the MS 700. So there's more new content. So this again is remote learning. So go into the learning portals, virtual learning, and you'll find them in there. And the last one, and it is very much the last one, so I'll leave it there, is the new voice feature released. So channel enable call queues. So this is this was in release, but now it's just really kind of making you aware that it is definitely there now. So you can make channel enable calls. So you can have 200 agents that can use this functionality now in Teams.
That's pretty cool.
So that's it from me.
Cool.
And me.
And you. Yeah, and him.
And Modern
Awesome.
Workplace.
Yes.
John, do you want to catch us up on Azure next?
Yes, of course. So I will start from April's UK community call. It was a short one. I think you didn't cover it last time, so I'll take the opportunity. So one thing that is really successful with the Microsoft FY21 Assist program is the solution assessment team. So there are a lot of there's a lot of incoming requests to do solution assessments, and because this is there are finite resources, and usually they will prioritize big workloads, so over 100 VMs, a lot of users. There is a new self-serve option. So for I think minimum 10 VMs migration to Azure or 25 users on Windows Virtual Desktop. That is, I think it's the bare minimum. You can just fill in a form, and the team will reach out to you. They will send the tool that you can use for free and how to install it, and then you have to wait for 2 weeks to get the first assessment. And I think at the end of the 30 days, the team will send you the full analysis with all the budgeting, the right sizing, what's the cost to lift and shift, what's the cost to lift and shift and optimize. So this is, I think, invaluable for partners, because just going through the cost, the Azure cost, pricing calculator, it's not the full picture. So you will give your customer the exact customized insight on what their infrastructure looks like, what's the cost to move it over, what's the cost to pay-as-you-go, 1 year reserved instances, 3 year reserved instances, and what will be the cost reduction if you optimize. So I think that's really good news. I think this will take a lot of stress out of partners that are new to Azure, modern workplace partners that have a lot of discussions around WVD, but do not know where to start from. If they have existing RDS clients on-prem, if the customers do, just you will start with that, and then there will be a warm introduction to other assist programs like Proof of Concept or the PTC, the Part-Time Technical Consultants. So I think it's the best way to start a discussion with a customer when it comes down to Azure. So the May community call covered many things. One thing I would like to stress out, I think it's common across all clouds, but what Microsoft has really done well recently is curate and upgrade their learning platform. So there are UK-based events that anyone can watch them live or on demand. There are global events, but also there's something new. At least it's new for me. I haven't seen this before. It's the learning journey. So it's curated material, curated resources for beginner practice for Windows Virtual Desktop, for example, intermediate, and then expert. And there are specific virtual-led instructor training, MS Learn, that will give you the skills you need to go and actually deploy those services. That's, I think it's common across all clouds, but I really wanted to mention this. Another one that I think is very important, because I've done this discussion with many partners, is sales enablement. So the sales people working for those our partners are used to having the discussion: how many users, how many servers, how many licenses do you need? So it's a huge learning curve, a huge shift to become a cloud-first salesperson. And Microsoft has a collection that's called Challenger Sales. I don't know if you've seen it. So yeah, I think it's really useful, and it's very good material to train your salespeople on how to go and get those deals. Another subject is there is an extension on the Windows Virtual Desktop discount offer. So there is a 30% discount on D series and BS series VMs, and that's for 90 days from the day of the activation. So it applies to all partners, and it's a very good tool to accelerate Windows Virtual Desktop. So if anyone has, any if it's a time to start using Windows Virtual Desktop, I think this time is now, because you have 30% off. There are Windows Virtual Desktop end user adoption kits that can help partners deliver training to the customer. So you can combine this with your modern workplace training and security and user training, and get more margin out of Windows Virtual Desktop, get that subscription model. As we discussed before, it's not just about selling licenses, it's about selling services, it's about selling per user, per month subscription to your customers. And another thing that's been extended is the new partner acquisition incentive. So there is a specific UK only incentive. Microsoft will give you $1,000 every time you get a customer ACR. So Azure consumed revenue that was below 1,000 the previous months. If you take it over 1,500, then you will receive once of $1,000 per customer. So if you put them all together, we put them all together, I think there are two call to action. So first of all, you have your Cloud Ascent data as a partner. There are some opportunities. If there are some opportunities for Windows Virtual Desktop, identify those opportunities, activate your go-to-market benefits, download the WVD campaign, use Chorus, Content Hub, and then create a campaign, utilize your co-op if you haven't so far, and drive campaigns standalone WVD or +1 campaigns that ties very well with modern workplace. This is one motion. The other motion is if you already have customers that have RDS on-prem, you can and they already have started using the Windows Virtual Desktop. You can identify those customers that are using the promotion and support them to maximize those services for 90 days. So utilize 30% discount, accelerate the production of WVD, and if they go over $1,500 per month, that it's in Windows Virtual Desktop, it is something usual. It's something expected. You could benefit. You can get the $1,000. that's it from my side. I hope
it's a nice bit of cash there towards those incentives.
We could have incentives like that.
I know.
Wouldn't mind $1,000 every time someone increased by a couple of £100.
I might give my partners that as well.
Yeah, John. Just a quick question on WVD. I know you mentioned about it bringing into the modern workplace. Me and Nicola have seen WVD appear as one of the sessions within our +1 upsell. How do you think that's kind of best incorporated? Do you know, like what would be the upsell from that, or do you know best loop in on WVD?
So the main motivation, the main benefit, the main reason for a customer to pay for Windows Virtual Desktop is security.
Okay.
You need, modern workplace. M365 is an amazing product. You have autopilot now. You can deploy it. You don't even need to drive all the way down to the office to get your laptop anymore. So the reason to pay, the extra for Windows Virtual Desktop is security. You have a desktop that's on the cloud. It's all the data, everything the user does stays in a specific storage and a specific VM. So you're covered from a security aspect, from a compliance aspect. And the best part is that if you if you get your laptop stolen or it breaks down, you just log in from another device and you're back where you were before. So.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, because I know we talk about it, but it's not something I in depth know too much about. You're on mute, Nicola.
Ask me. It's really interesting.
I must have muted myself. Sorry, I don't know how I done that, or someone done it. Yeah, it is a lot. Honestly, the people in terms of like WVD, when I'm certainly having conversations with partners, it does seem to be something that everyone's really interested in. So part of that +1 upsell, it seems like a really nice hand-in-hand thing to do.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I will keep the business applications one quite short and broad because there's.
Just say one thing though.
Go on.
Congratulations.
Congratulations and celebrations.
For passing your
Power Platforms, wasn't it?
No, I've done Power Platform.
Well, no, it's CRM, wasn't it?
Yeah, CRM one now. So it's one of the new ones. It's been around for a while, but it's one of the new ones.
It's leaving us in the shade, Mike.
Yeah, it just proves I actually have read the stuff and I know the stuff. Know it well enough to do a multiple choice question. Thank you very much. But yes, community core wise, there's been a few updates. And it's a lot of collateral that's been updated recently. So I know last month we talked about the Dynamics partner website that has Power Platform partner website as well, sort of combined. So all the sales players are all kept together. All the product information is all kept together. Really, really, really useful website for any partners looking for that kind of material. However, there's been even more announced at the Microsoft Business Applications Summit, which went on last week. I'm losing track of time.
I was going to say, you don't sound sure.
I don't sound sure because it's very recent. I think it was last week, actually. So it's a couple of days before the community call. From there's quite a lot of updates to things like Power BI and Power Platform. Power BI introduced a lovely new feature called Goals, which is going to be used more and more. But also they released a document. If you want to call it a playbook, you can call it a playbook, but it's actually the Dynamics 365 implementation guide. So if you've ever wondered how to literally implement Dynamics 365, because it isn't a series of click next, enter your name here, click next and finish. That's not how Dynamics works. There's a lot of work that goes into the background to put it in. Then this will give you a guide on how to do that step by step. Microsoft had a team building this document for quite some time, and it does look a very meaty document to sink your teeth into. So any partners out there that wants to start a Dynamics practice, this will be like a bit of a Bible for you guys. You will want to go back to this document an awful lot. Additionally, that came out of the summit, there was a cloud skills challenge for a change.
How many days have they given you, though?
To the 18th of May. So they
okay.
gave you like almost 3 weeks.
3
8 more than normal.
I was going to say.
Yeah, but you don't get any free exam vouchers out the back of it or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
However, if you are in this Dynamics world, sometimes what you want is to be in front of Microsoft, in front of the decision makers or product designers for these applications. And if you get onto your leaderboards for whichever cloud skills, you put into a drawer to have a 30-minute conversation with those people. So if you do want some real honest answers from your questions, absolutely it's worth doing.
Sounds like Dragon's Den.
It is a bit like Dragon's Den. I was thinking that. But yeah, you could literally just, most people would have already gone and done these skills. And then maybe just like 1 or 2 modules you've got left to just go and do. And then you're on the leaderboard. Do you know what? You might have a 30-minute conversation with someone at Microsoft that you've been trying to grab hold of for years. You never know.
Yeah.
Just looping it back to that implementation guide though as well. If you want to find out more about that, there is actually a training call that's going on the 20th of May. I'm conscious as this being a podcast and consumed on demand, you may not have the opportunity to sign up for it, but the link will be in the description underneath, so you can go and register for it. It's at 5 p.m. UK time. I think it's just an hour long, but it'll give you an idea on how to use that guide. Additionally, what came out of the community call is the BizApps resources smart link that they use, the aka.ms link. It's actually got a collection of PowerPoints in there that'll talk you through what promotions are going on, what pre-sale support you can get. There's one about SMB collateral specifically in there as well. So just go and have a look at that. The content itself hasn't been updated an awful lot in there. It's just specific slides have been changed around. So if you want the most up-to-date information for Dynamics in general, that's the place to go and check out.
It's nice that they're putting actually everything all in one area rather than having kind of a scattering of it all over the partner center or in docs somewhere. It does seem that everything's now being pulled together really nicely into these playbooks, one area, and it just makes life so much easier for everyone, doesn't it?
So my favorite and the feedback from partners is the same at the moment with the way collateral goes and everything, is that partner website is fantastic. I know we've talked about Solutions Workshop before, where you can build that solution and put it all into a plan. But this is a website that will have a sales play. So if you're talking about activating digital selling, you can click on that as a sales play, and all the collateral for that sales play is put into one section. If you're then going, well, actually, it's not a sales play I'm looking at, but I'm looking at Business Central as an application. I want to build a Business Central practice. You can click on that as an application, and actually then you've got 3 tabs specifically for Business Central, taking you from building a practice all the way through to go to market, and all the content is under the relevant tabs there. So I think we've done really well on the BizApp side of things, just grabbing every bit of content everywhere and pulling it into this one place, because no longer are you having to go into the marketing portal for on the partner website and search for Dynamics Business Central. You don't have to search for it anymore. Just click. It's all there.
I love the sound of that implementation guide. Like the amount of partners who request like Dynamics kind of chatter. And like, you know, we have to pull in all these other partners and things, whereas now it's in one, albeit it's like, you know, War and Peace, but it will give you.
I was going to say, it's not going to make it easy. It's not like they can just read the book and they're done.
But
we are talking about Dynamics here. Come on.
how good of a steer is that, though? That like, you know, I think that's really, really good. And that team, whoever you are, deserve a pay rise. Just saying. So.
you got the power to do that, it'd be Mike.
No.
Or just want some donuts or some cakes or something. Just well done for having a bit of logic, is all I'm saying. Logic never gets you too far away from things.
From us on the call, I'll give them a pat on the back. There we go. That was mine anyway.
What's the biggest playbook you've read?
I'm not a big reader, if I'm honest. I tried to put the security playbook, which is 250 pages, into audio.
Immersive reading.
But Microsoft SAM was very tedious on a 4-hour drive, so I was like, yeah.
You can change the narrator essentially.
Yeah,
change it. But I'm the same. To be fair, I'm the same. I started to read it, kind of got a little bit lost, and then thought, I'll get someone to read it to me.
Yeah, at 1.5 speed. Yeah.
I found the perfect speed's 1.25. Actually, to be fair, I can take it in at that point. Anything faster than 1.25, it's not good.
Yeah, we could do that. We could curate and narrate the playbooks.
So this
John,
implementation guide, by the way, this implementation guide is 691 pages.
Yeah.
That's big, and that's probably A4 pages as well, isn't it? That's not
fair, you'd need some
PDF,
dialect
so
as well.
It's like a fun weekend.
Yeah, give me a book with some nice pictures in it.
I've got a lovely picture of a boat, Mike. It's fine.
Yeah.
But that's the community call updates that I wanted to go through. I told you I'd keep it quite broad and I wouldn't go into too much detail on there because all the resources are there. I think it's really important that you get a high-level overview. And that kind of brings us to the end of this month's podcast, actually. So for those of you watching on YouTube, if you want to connect with us, feel free to do so. On your screens now, you will be seeing our LinkedIn profiles. We've replaced the lovely Steve Gray with an even better John Papadakis. There's a QR code or the links underneath that you can join with us. If you've got any questions or have any topics you think we should discuss, please feel free to reach out. And that's us for another month, guys.
Woohoo. See you later.
Bye.